Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have come up with a new chapter, that is the Sophocles, Unit 2, Oedipus Rex, the entire summary and the analysis. I'm sure you have gone through the previous chapter, that's a Unit 1. I had explained it in detail about the Greek theater. Those who didn't watch the video, they can watch that video first about the Unit 1. Then y'all can watch Unit 2 so that y'all can understand it better. Oedipus Rex, also called Oedipus the King, is a tragedy of Sophocles written around 429 BCE and is widely considered one of the greatest plays in world's literature. And the main facts are: first, the author is Sophocles. The genre is Greek tragedy. Setting was in Thebes outside the royal palace, and the main characters Oedipus, king of Thebes, famed for solving the Sphinx riddle; Jocasta, queen of Thebes, wife and unknowingly mother of Oedipus; Creon is Oedipus' brother-in-law; Tiresias is a blind prophet of Apollo; Chorus is a citizen of Thebes representing the public voice; and the messenger and shepherds are the bearer of the king revelation. These are the main themes of Oedipus Rex. First is fate versus free will. Core idea is the prophecy that Oedipus will kill his father and marry his mother is fulfilled despite all efforts to prevent it. In the play, Laius and Jocasta try to avoid the prophecy by abandoning their baby. Oedipus tries to avoid it by fleeing Corinth. Every action they take to escape fate actually brings it about. Message of the first theme is: in Greek tragedy, fate is unavoidable, and human attempt to outsmart the gods often leads directly to the destined outcome. Second, we have sight versus blindness. Core idea is physical sight does not equal true understanding. Insight is an inner vision. In the play, Tiresias, the blind prophet, sees the truth clearly. Oedipus, who has physical sight, is blind to his own identity and guilt. At the end, Oedipus blinds himself, symbolizing his shift from ignorance to insight. The message from this theme is: true vision is the ability to perceive reality even if it is painful. The third theme is knowledge versus ignorance. The core idea is the pursuit of truth can be dangerous and destructive. In the play, Oedipus' determination to find the truth about Laius' murders leads to his own ruin. Jocasta avoids the truth out of fear and tries to stop Oedipus from asking further questions. The main message that we get from this theme is: while knowledge is noble, it can bring unbreakable consequences. The fourth theme is pride. The core idea is excessive pride can lead to downfall. In the play, Oedipus is proud of his intelligence, solving the Sphinx riddle, and his leadership. This pride makes him ignore warning from Tiresias and Creon and drives him to challenge prophecy. The main message we get from this theme is: overconfidence can blind leaders to reality and hasten their fall. The fifth is guilt and ignorance. The core idea is a person can be both guilty and innocent at the same time. In the play, Oedipus is guilty of patricides and incest, but he committed this unknowingly. This duality complicates moral judgment and increases the tragedy. The main message we get from this theme is: responsibility in Greek tragedy is not erased by ignorance, the consequences remain. And the last, we have the limits of human control. The core idea is: no matter how powerful, intelligent, or well-intentioned, human cannot control everything. In the play, Oedipus' life is shaped more by divine prophecy than by his own plans. The main message we get from this theme is: Greek tragedies often remind audiences of human limitation under divine law. Next, we have a section-wise explanation. That's a section 1, section 2, section 3, section 4, and a section 5 in detail. I'm going to explain everything in detail with the pictures so that you all can understand it better. Before starting the play, it is very important to know the background before the play begins. What had happened in the life of each and every artist that is acting. Many years ago, King Alarius of Thebes and Queen Jocasta were told by the oracle of Delphi that their son would kill his father and marry his mother. To avoid this fate, they gave their infant son to the shepherd to abandon on Mount Caryatian. The baby's ankles were pinned together, hence the name Oedipus, meaning swollen foot. The shepherd, unable to kill the child, gave him to another shepherd for Corinth. The baby was adopted by King Polybus and Queen Merope of Corinth, who raised him as their own. As a young man, Oedipus heard a rumor he was not his parents' biological child. He went to the oracle, who did not answer his question directly, but told him he would kill his father and marry his mother. Believing this referred to Polybus and Merope, Oedipus fled Corinth. On the road, he quarreled with an old man and his servant and killed them. Unaware, the old man was his Larius, his real father. Arriving in Thebes, he solved the riddle of the Sphinx, freeing the city from its curse. In gratitude, the Thebes made him king, and he married Jocasta, his biological mother. Years pass, Oedipus and Jocasta have children together. Section 1, line 1 to 337 begins with the opening, that's the prologue. The plague, the crayons returns from Delphi, the oracle's demand. The play opened in the palace of Thebes. A crowd, represented by the priest and chorus, begs King Oedipus to save the city from a terrible plague. Oedipus rescues them, taking strong kingly control. He says he has sent Creon to consult Apollo at Delphi. Creon returns with the oracle's proclamation. Thebes is polluted because Laius, murderer, lives unpunished among them. The pollution will end only when the murderer is found and expelled or punished. Oedipus vows to find the killer and announces an investigation and a public curse on the murderer. The chorus plead with the god. Oedipus here is authoritative, energetic, confident, the ideal civic rule. He is also proud of his past accomplishment, that is, solving the Sphinx, and being a man of action. His rhetoric is commanding and full of urgency. The chorus expresses civic fear and dependence on the king. That turn helps set the communal stakes. Here, the main themes are dramatic irony leaps out. The audience quickly learn that the murderer is Oedipus himself, so he is vowed to punish. The killer creates tragic tension. And second, we have the sight versus insight, that is, motive is gently introduced. It is Oedipus sees himself as protector, although he is blind to his own guilt. And third is authoritative and law. Oedipus' public oath and legal language show great concern about justice and leadership. Next, we have section 2, line 338 to 706. Thereseus' scene, the prophet's accusation, Oedipus' anger, Jocasta's calming attempt. Oedipus summoned the blind prophet Thereseus to identify the murderer. Thereseus initially resists speaking. When pressed, he finally says that Oedipus himself is a guilty man. Oedipus refuses the accusation, attacks Thereseus with anger, then accuses Creon of a conspiracy, hoping to discredit the prophet by claiming political motive. Jocasta, Oedipus' wife, queen, arrives and tries to restore calm. She dismisses prophetic pronouncement and urges trust in human remedies. Here, the Theseus, the paradoxical seer who is physically blind but possesses inner vision, his reluctance to speak and his cryptic tone increase dramatic tension. And Oedipus' pride and quick temper appear strongly here. His confidence slides into paranoia when faced with a change he cannot tolerate. And Jocasta is pragmatic and skeptical of oracles at first. She functions as a moderating, rational figure who tries to reassure Oedipus and restore civic order. The main theme over here is knowledge versus ignorance. Theseus' prophecy begins the play movement from ignorance to knowledge. Fate versus free will. Oedipus raged at the idea he could be the murderer, in also a reaction against the idea that fate controls human life. And third, the limits of reason. Oedipus' episodes of rational argument break down when confronted with a prophetic irrational truth. Section 3, line 707 to 1007. Jocasta's story of Laer's death, the crossroad detail, and Oedipus remembers the killing, the suspicion's growth. Jocasta tells the story of Laer's murder and of the prophecy that a son would kill his father. She explained that the child was exposed and they believe died. She gives the detail of Laer's death at a crossroad killed by robbers. As Jocasta tells the story, Oedipus remembers a violent encounter years before at a crossroad during his fight from Corinth. He killed men after a quarrel. These memories match Jocasta's description, and the coincidence deepen Oedipus' unease. Jocasta tried to reassure him that oracles are unreliable and the child was surely dead, but Oedipus becomes increasingly determined to follow the fact. Jocasta moved from claiming pragmatism to terrify women as the parallel mouth. She doesn't realize the full implication. She simply wants to stop Oedipus probing. Oedipus shifts from confidence rule to a man haunted by memories. The first real crack is his self-image appear here. The main themes are chance versus necessity. The accidental crossroad meeting reads like fate stage. It is coincidence or ordained. Narrative of identity. Oedipus' past action taken a heroic, now look ominous. Section 4, line 1008 to 1310. The messengers from Corinth, news of Polybus' death, revelations of adoption, founding story. A messenger from Corinth arrives with two shocks. First, he tells Oedipus that King Polybus, the man Oedipus thinks is his father, has died. Oedipus at first feels relief because one element of the prophecy, killing his father, seems false. Then, in conversation, the messenger revealed that Polybus was not Oedipus' birth father. Oedipus was brought to Corinth as a foundling, a baby given to Polybus by another man, a shepherd, who had found him wearing pins in his ankles. This introduces the story of Oedipus' origin. The Oedipus experiences a complex psychological swing, relief, Polybus' death, new dread, he may not be Polybus' son. Oppression, he must know the truth. The messenger's story supplies us the missing pieces linking Oedipus to Lazarus' household. Last we have section 5, line 1311 to 1684. That's a shepherd's testimony, full recognition, Jocasta's suicide, Oedipus' self-blindness, exile, and final chorus. The shepherd, the herdsman who was originally ordered to abandon the child, is brought in. Under pressure, he confirmed that the child he gave away was indeed the son of Lazarus and Jocasta. All pieces clicked. Oedipus realizes he has killed his father and married his mother. This is the recognition and reversal. Jocasta, overwhelmed, rushed inside and killed herself. Oedipus discovers her body and is in catastrophic act of self-punishment, blinds himself with brooches from her dress. Creon becomes de facto ruler. Oedipus asks to be exiled and begs that his daughters be cared for. The chorus closes with a famous moral: do not call any man happy until he has finished his life free of pain. The catastrophe produces pity and fear. The Aristophanes aims of tragedy. The audience expresses catharsis as they witness the hero's suffering. The final speech and the chorus synthesizes the ethical and religious theme and close the civic crisis. Thebes will now be purified, Creon governs. This other film adaptation, which was based on the Oedipus Rex theme, that's a play. First, we have the Oedipus Rex in 1957, directed by Tyrone, which was produced by the Stratford Festival in Canada. Actors wearing mask model and ancient Greek style, which was very close to Sophocles' text, keeping the chorus and structure intact. Christopher Plummer had played a major role being as a Oedipus. Second, we have Oedipus Rex in 1967, directed by Pier Pasolini. It was an Italian art film adaptation, that's a Oedipo Re, and transposes the story into a mix of ancient Greek and surreal imaginary with autobiography elements from Pasolini's own life. And the main style was symbolic, dramatic, like, and highly visual. One of the most famous cinematic reinterpretation. Third, we have Oedipus the King in 1968, which was directed by Philip Sewell. The type was the direct adaptation. Stars Christopher Plummer again as Oedipus. Fourth, we have the Gospel ad Colonis, that's in 1987, directed by Lee Brewer, and it was a musical reimagining. While focusing on Oedipus ad Colonis, sequel to Oedipus Rex, it uses African American gospel music to retell the myth. And the Tony Award nominated Broadway production, later film for PBS. Next, we have Oedipus Mayor, that's in 1996, directed by George Triana. And it is a modern political adaptation, sets the Oedipus story during the Colombian armed conflict. The prophecy become a political prediction, retain the tragic structure. And last, we have the various stage film hybrids. The major stage production of Oedipus Rex has been filmed and distributed specially from National Theatre, that's in UK, Royal Shakespeare Company, and Stratford Festival, Canada. That's all for today, guys. Thank you for watching my video. Please do like, share with your friends, those who are doing the graduation in English, and don't forget to subscribe.